Okay, when we were musseling in the 60s, like I said, we'd just get it on the boat and we'd hang on to the boat with our arms. And a lot of mussels in the Wabash River, as I remember Dad teaching me or telling me, he says, okay, mussels don't really move a lot. A lot of times you find them in one area, a lot of them, when they reproduce or whatever. And like I said, we would do them with our feet. I mean, sometimes that's what I'm saying about people throwing trash in the river or glass. You know, with your bare feet sometimes you'd get in there and you could feel around and say, oh, I feel one with my toes or something. Then we even had the treble hooks. Like I said, they would attach to your boat and you would drop them in off the boat, on two sides, and then you would gradually trow the river, and whatever you brought up on the treble hooks, you would just take them off and throw them in the boat and stuff like that. We always do ours in the boat, but mostly we would do ours like feeling with our hands. Or I remember telling my father, I said, Dad, I got one here, and I couldn't wait to bring it up to see what it was. You know, whether it was a banana shell or a pig toe shell. But the places you found a lot of them, it seemed like, was real shallow water. You know, because they would be like close to, I would call like they call a sandbar or something. But that's how we did. Once we found an area, my dad said, oh, this is a good spot or something, because we would throw them in the boat, and then at the end of the day, we would take everything, put them in 5-gallon buckets, take them home, and we would boiling water. We would open the shells up, and then take a shovel to take the shells out of there because they were so hot with the hot water, and we let them cool off. And then once the meat cooled off, we would look through all the mussel meat and look for pearls, and we'd put them in a jar. And the pearls, my mother had a ring made out of one real nice, beautiful round pearl. But in the 80s, my brother-in-law and my sister were out in Arizona, and she said probably mid-80s, and they was at a thrift shop. You know, just how you go to different places, like going to a covered bridge or something, you know, to whatever shop, just to look around. And they seen these pink pearls, and the pink pearls, on the tag, it said they came from the Wabash River in Indiana. So, and I don't remember what Dad used to sell those for. I don't know how much he got for those pearls or something, but they were real beautiful. Sometimes, I mean, it put a grin. When you was a kid, it was like finding a pearl or finding a mussel. It was like Easter egg hunting. That's what it reminded me of. It was like the joy of finding, like, oh man, I found one. Here's one here. Like finding a mushroom. You know, it just brings joy to you. Like I said, I always thought we used to sell them. I mean, I thought we used to get $500 a ton for them, but I don't know if somebody come to get them from our house. I can't remember that. See, I can't remember how my dad got them hauled, with the old truck or whatever, if they were taken that way. Now, my sister said there was a place in Terre Haute, like I said, down off First Street. The mussels, sometimes in the meat that we would use later for bait, we'd go through every piece of that meat to look, that you'd feel. Sometimes you might get one that was like broken off or whatever, but every once in a while you would find a perfect round pearl. And that's what, like I said, a lot of people used to buy them. I think someplace in New York or something used to buy those sometimes, or someplace used to, I always heard. I think there was a place that that would buy them for another country or something like that, maybe. I don't know. I don't know the whole history on that. I just know that it was so pretty, and Mom was so thrilled when Dad had a ring made out of that pearl. And there was a lot of mussels, because I think they've reproduced more during that time, and people, like anything else, I think once people, I'd say in the 60s, 70s, once people started doing that more and more often, after a while, you don't have very many mussels. He done it more or less, even for the joy of doing it, he done it for money sometimes, for extra money. My dad's always been, like his trapping. When they paid a lot before along the river, in the wintertime, my dad, because you couldn't mussel, my dad used to trap. Once they were outlawed, like in the late 80s, they started, to me, it was like a dying thing that died out. because my dad used to always say, well, can't find any mussels anymore, or something like that. And I just don't know if it was because of all the mussling earlier in the years. Because in the 1900s, I think before, probably in the 30s or 40s, probably people done mussling, as far as I would know.